Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about...
So let's look at July, not just to predict, but to position. Not to wonder what's coming, but to ask, how will I lead it? The July theme is this: vroom, vroom, get ready, get set, go. This energetic element this month is fire, and it's being fed by air. So what does that mean? The translation is speed, expansion, disruption, opportunity, only if you know how to ride its frequency. So let's go ahead and break it down. So Neptune stations retrograde on July 4th. And Neptune is a cosmic lens. He usually veils the truth. He's the one that says everything's okay, don't worry about it, you can chill out, calm down, kick the can down the road, it's going to be fine. But when he's retrograde, those glasses come off and the veil is lifted. And so you see more clearly. And in Aries, you see the truth, and that truth hits hard. This is 100-day wake-up call, and we've been cascading these wake-up calls as the year has been progressing. So we had the first big wake-up call at the end of March. We had the second one the third week of May. We've had another lunar one in June with some squaring and some, kind of difficulties, but it wasn't this huge unveiling, releasing, unless you were being observant, unless you took advantage of the last 2 weeks in June, planting seeds for your next 15 years. Here we are at the top of a new month, and we've got Neptune being its first star saying, you know what? The old illusions are dissolving. If you've been ignoring your inner knowing, this is going to sting. If you've been aligning with it, you're going to soar. Then, on the heels of this, just 3 days later, we have Uranus entering Gemini on July 7th. This is something that hasn't happened since the 1940s. And Uranus is the planet of shock. He's the lightning bolt. He's the one that's really generating this wake-up call. So as we've been stepping through these last few months, we've been accelerating, amplifying, tightening, fine-tuning, however you want to think about it. We have been doing that so that when Uranus is right here, right now, it has been an opening like you haven't experienced for most of you in your lifetime. So we have Uranus, that big wake-up call, shock and awe energy, going into Gemini. Gemini is a sign of the mind, of voice, of speed. So we can expect more breakthroughs and breakdowns in tech, communication, media, and thought. This isn't content marketing. This isn't looking at, like the way that you're messaging. This is the decentralization of truth. You are now your own broadcast channel. That's a big deal. Then the third thing that happens out of 4 that are noteworthy for this podcast episode is that Saturn stations retrograde in Aries on July 12th. And Saturn asks you, where are you not in integrity with your soul-led mission? And even though Saturn doesn't love being in Aries, Saturn is that deep, abiding energy that is relentless and is grinding and is very physically, earthly, practically based. And you have that fiery energy of Aries and you have that air energy of Gemini. Think about the trifecta of fire. You need fuel, you need a fuel source, and you need a trigger point. And we have all of those right now. And so when Saturn is asking you, hey, are you in integrity? Are you in alignment? Are you on the right trajectory? You're going to feel this. Again, he's a little softer here in Aries, but he's still your accountability coach in the cosmos. Then we have Mercury. Mercury is becoming more of a focal point because Uranus is in Gemini. Now, Mercury has been more of a focal point for the last year because Jupiter was in Gemini. Now, Jupiter has moved on to Cancer and leaving the way, Jupiter paved the way for Uranus to come into Gemini. So Mercury is still, for the next 7 years, is going to be front and center. And when he goes retrograde, which he does a few times a year, he's going retrograde from July 18th to August. It's 8th to 11th, depending on what you're reading. And so during this time, these 3 weeks, he's going to be in Leo and he's going to be dragging his energy back. So this one's not about tech. It's about your stage presence. This is about that decentralization of truth. It's about your voice, your visibility. Are you performing or are you embodying? So now, if you've gotten the new book, The New Era Millionaire, you're going to know that I'm very much articulating about the stars plus strategy plus signatures equals soul-led wealth. So I just want to remind you of that again, and we're going to apply it right here to July. So this is a once-in-500-year configuration. We've got Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, and this is what I call the magic triangle. This isn't about I don't want to be like this trivia coach where, this isn't about astrological trivia. This is about soul-coded opportunity. Your soul is here at this time for this reason. And when these outer planets are dictating global cycles, this is the pulse of power, of innovation, and of wealth for the next decade. So what does that mean for you personally? You're wired to move through the world in one of 6 intuitive ways. I call these your intuitive success signatures. And so if you're a wise strategist, you build your empire from a logically based perspective. If you're an intuitive visionary, you see what others can't see in ways that they can't comprehend. For you, collaborative explorer, you thrive on authentic connection, and this is your time. For you, ruling warrior, you are bold and you are precise and you're powerful. And that's just what 2025 is calling for. For you, collaborative explorer, you lead through presence and story. So your way to decentralize the truth is through you. Loving alchemist, you turn value into transformation. And your power is needed in the world right now. If you don't know your intuitive success signature, there's a quiz. I'm going to link into the show notes. But here's the point. If your strategy isn't based on your signature, you're going to spin, you're going to burn out, you're going to shrink. So you want to stop planning without the stars. You want to stop launching without your signature. And this month especially, here's how to lead. These are your soul-led execution tips for each one of your signatures. For you, ruling warriors, pick a bold move, then protect your energy. Creative superstar, tune into this Mercury retrograde and use it to refine your storytelling. Wise strategist, use the Saturn retrograde to retool your systems. Intuitive visionary, don't just dream, distill. This month needs containers to give you the patterns, the grooves, the channels to walk through. Collaborative explorers, clean up your calendar. You're stretched way too thin. Loving alchemist, this is your month to receive. Open the portal to being well-resourced. Now remember, strategy isn't the first, it's the third. There's stars first, signature second, strategy last. So what about financially? Let's look at cosmic wealth intelligence. This volatility is real. We've just seen, as a few people pointed out to me, especially the last week of June when I had kept saying that was incredibly impactful. People were, communicating to me that their investments were doing really, really great. It was great for the portfolio. So this is what we want to be in tune to, because as the volatility is real and is going to continue that way, traditional stocks are floundering, but tech, climate, and biotech, and even deep science, they're ascending, they're growing, they're building. Now, crypto, that's still unclear. I read its energy field and it's black, it's inky, it's opaque, it's unstable. I don't align with it, but if it feels aligned for you, then enter it consciously. If not, don't force it. But more importantly, your wealth will not come from tips or trends or tactics. It will come from alignment. And as I say in my book, New Era Millionaire, this isn't about how to make money. It's about how to trust yourself so deeply, wealth becomes inevitable. So, what's your embodiment worth this month? I'll give you one question to return to every single morning. Ask yourself, am I leading from soul or reacting from noise? And one ritual you can anchor yourself in: go outside, walk barefoot, let the fire and air elements in July skies move through you, not just around you. Walk your walk and talk your talk. So, July is a fast-moving month, but it is filled with amazing opportunities. And this is the pivotal moment where innovation is everything and the pace is lightning speed. And in so saying, I'm now deepening my work. So I'm activating, not teaching. And this podcast is the place where you come to receive transmission. Moving forward, you're going to receive one transmission per week. Each one is distilled, deliberate, and designed to move you further with less noise. So this is the Strategic Oracle. If you're still here, I know you're ready to lead differently. Subscribe if this speaks to you. Share it with somebody building their empire in a new way. And come back next week. We're diving deeply into Uranus and Gemini and the disruption wave coming for the voice economy. Until then, stay strategic, stay sovereign, stay soul-led.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.